Now I am now I am the type of man that when you got something going on, I much rather wait to discuss anything about it. So when Travis Hunter had his final game, I believe he's going to play against BYU. I didn't want to make another video about him or his fiancée or anything along those lines because that's too much of a distraction. And plus, he just needs to focus on what's most important, his family and his career. Now that that game is past, the holiday is past, I feel okay about talking about this again compared to other people I see as many videos about him nonstop trying to get those Christmas checks. Now, unfortunately, Colorado did lose against BYU. I think it was like, 34-12? It was some large gap like that, was pretty surprising. But he did have some really great highlights in that game. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm kind of further want to go into the discussion of Travis Hunter and his relationship. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually okay with his relationship with his woman. And the reason being is it's going to be growing pains. It's kind of one of those things that a lot of men are saying he should really try to protect himself. But that conversation is dead in the water. So let's just go ahead and see some examples of Travis Hunter-ish relationships that's kind of ruined people's careers and futures. So let me go ahead and start.
How'd the story start, the love story?
Bro, it's crazy. It's kind of funny because now...
Oh, and speaking of which, I want to go ahead and talk about or go ahead and show how his woman, his fiance, cannot stop lying. And here's a prime example right here.
Brother's like my best friend.
Yeah, I see y'all rocking a lot together.
Yeah. He's here at the house, but he's at work right now. But like, he seen her phone one day. He went to her phone one day, and I texted her on Instagram, and he seen that text. He's like, "You don't know who this is?" So he was like, "You don't know who this is?"
He's a real wing man.
She was. Hey, he was a good wing.
You wait. He was fine.
She was like, "Boy, I don't care who that is." But she seen my text message along.
You see that the story is much different now. I'm not sure when this interview came up, but it recently came out 2 days ago or so about the inconsistencies with Leanna's story about how they met and how she just left him in the DM because he cheated, supposedly, right? Or he was a cheater.
A time ago, she just never.
Yeah, she just ignoring you.
He left you on red, gang?
Ignore you.
Wow.
And that's when I was nothing, so she
Yeah.
I don't care about it. And, like,
it's kind of sad that he said that's when he was nothing, when he was one of the top players in the nation at that particular time, even in high school. But it just shows that he really didn't know how valuable he really was, and he was very humble back then, even now to an extent. So it's kind of hard to see all this stuff that's coming onto his plate when all he's trying to do is have a healthy relationship. It is unfortunate he's trying to have a healthy relationship with somebody that's bringing toxicity to his life.
she still don't even know why she talked to me.
Seemed like
But I'm going to tell y'all the full story just so y'all know. So Travis, when he first ever DM'd me, when we first met, I said I left him in my DM for 2 months, and people said, "Oh, she left him in his DM until she figured out who he was." That is not true at all. The real reason Travis sat in my DM for 2 months is because he DM'd me when he had a girlfriend, and her name was in his bio, so I instantly knew he had a partner. So I exited the message, and he sat there until he was single. I don't do home wrecking. I'm not a side piece. I don't stand for any of those things. I support women, so I would never do that to another woman.
So you see how she just left out the whole entire part that, her brother introduced him. Or not really introduced her brother brought to her attention who he was, right? Again, Travis Hunter didn't know his value. I think that's what a lot of people are having, as he was valuable even back then as a kid. He just didn't realize how valuable he was and still is. But she didn't know it either, to her credit, but her brother told her. And then there's that long game. People always want to say in defense of, well, hey, she was a little older. She got off when he was in high school. It's a red flag. If the situations was reversed, if she was in high school and he was in college, they would have a field day of calling him a cheese pizza lover or all this other kind of crazy stuff. But let's continue. Actually, let's go ahead and go into the next clip I have here. This one's about Kyle.
Kyle Filipowski is a 20-year-old player from Duke. He is 7 feet tall, and he is a solid player.
Now, if you remember this situation about Kyle, it was about 6 months ago, right? everybody was talking about him and his relationship for a while there, mainly because he didn't get drafted where people thought he was going to, in addition to who his, I'm not sure they're married now, but who his girlfriend was at the time and how they met. Essentially, allegedly, that was his babysitter, which is the craziest thing in the world. Let's continue.
It was just assumed, rightfully so, that he would be in the first round of the draft. And he was even invited and attended the official NBA draft event. So, he got all done up, he went to the event, and he was not drafted. So he was bumped to the second round, he ended up being the 32nd pick, and is now going to the Utah Jazz. And on the 26th, when the draft event happened...
Now, being with the Utah Jazz and, being that low is kind of surprising.
Happened 2 days ago, a video went viral of him hugging his girlfriend after leaving the draft disappointed. And people were just confused about the entire thing. They did not know what had happened. Somebody commented and said, I don't get it. He's young, he's 7 feet, 250 pounds, good numbers at a top-rate school at a good conference. Why is he dropping? So then, the next day, on the ESPN show The Low Post, they mentioned something that sent people down a rabbit hole on...
And here's the thing, who you with can impact your life and your future. Kyle, a white male, which I guess is a traditionally tall, good-looking white male who's athletic, you would think he would be on top of a world, have the most advantages and circumstances. However, because of who he ended up being with, it lowered his possibilities and potential of being in an NBA league.
Twitter. Just listen.
The workouts weren't great. People tell me there were question marks about the interviews. They said he was nervous. He didn't make shots at the pro day. What's going on with his girlfriend? This is all nonsense.
What's going on with his girlfriend? You
He
need
has
to
an older
elaborate.
girlfriend. She's like 25 or 26, and people are like, this is weird. And it's like, give me a freaking
What?
break, guys.
That's not that. What?
He doesn't talk to his parents, it's
Oh my God! I gotta get this.
Now, to be fair, when I was younger, when I was about 18, 19, I think the oldest woman that I had a relation with was in her 30s. So it's not too outside the normal of younger guys liking older women because they like to have the experience of learning from an older woman a lot of the time. There's like a Goldilocks age when it comes to dating and relationships in general. But when I first heard, the age gap, I was like, okay, that's not a big deal. They're still in their 20s together, right? It's not that outrageous considering now I'm comparing it to myself. I've been with older myself.
Guy in the podcast. I gotta get the.
Yeah, actually, you do need to get them on the podcast because this story is allegedly even more insane than either of these two men could have ever imagined. But of course, when people heard that, they had the same response as that co-host. Like, his girlfriend? Like, what does a girlfriend have to do with where and when you get drafted? Well, apparently, in Kyle's situation, a lot. So...
And you see right there, a lot. And that's why so many people are getting on to Travis Hunter. Right now, he's trying to go into the NFL. His girlfriend, his fiancée now, can have a really bad impact of where he goes. Again, NBA, NFL, MLB, all that is a business. They want to put their money behind a brand that they can that's reliable and supportive. Travis has such a great background story. He's such a charismatic young man, such an athletic man that people just gravitate towards him naturally. However, the red flag is his girl. So people are starting not necessarily turning their back on him, but she's trying to diminish what kind of man people see him as. Think about it. Just like in the clips I showed earlier, how she tried to say I left him on red because I didn't sit here. I don't want to be a cheater and all this other kind of stuff. And I don't like cheaters, calling him a cheater. When in complete opposite, he wrote her. It was completely innocent. And then what ended up happening, her brother ended up telling her. So yes, you can play the long game. We're going to get an example right here.
After this podcast episode dropped, that clip went viral on Twitter and people started to dig. His girlfriend, whose name is Caitlin, is 26 years old. And obviously, he's 20 years old. Them being together is legal. Now it's legal. But they apparently started dating when he was in high school. I don't even need to say apparently because there is photo evidence. At 24 years old, 2 years after she graduated from the University of Alabama, she went to a senior prom. And that is the first photo that they ever posted together. But
University of Alabama, those girls are wild. So I'm surprised that you know what? I'm jumping ahead. Let's go ahead. And
they have known each other since he was 13 years old.
That's just a little weird.
And Kyle's mother, allegedly, has thoughts.
Now, I will say on here, she said he was 13. On other things I read, he was 11 and she was the babysitter, allegedly. So I'm not sure what it was. But either way, he was underage, under driving age, under the age of a permit, and just hitting puberty either way. And she was a grown woman.
commenter said, why would teams hold potentially being groomed against him? Becky Filipowski comments and says, because she has manipulated him for 3 years to this point, took him away from his craft. And this was not her only comment. Under that same viral clip, she also posted, you are opening a 2-year issue. She is 28. With an endgame 3 years ago to have a diamond ring on her hand when Kyle left Duke. He was still in high school. But what Kyle's older brother allegedly said in the comments might be even worse. And he commented and said, I'm Kyle's oldest brother. You all don't have a clue of the extent of the story that has to do with his girlfriend. There's a story that has been pushed under the table for nearly 2 years now. Now, other people on Twitter were posting these tweets from the family saying, wow, Kyle walked away from them. Can't believe he would do that. And his brother Daniel was quick to jump in and made sure that the story was set straight. He commented on another post and said, no, sir, you got it backwards. She forced him to cut us off from his life almost 2 years ago. Sent us an email and everything. Basically the official goodbye letter. And obviously, if all of this is true, Kyle, his coaches, his agent, and his family
And you see, and there you go right there again. Who you are with can really impact where you go. And there's all kinds of stories and studies of whenever you are married, it shows that you could be more reliable, trusting, hardworking, reliable, which also impacts your careers and everything like this. People want to invest in a brand. So right now, Travis Hunter is a very likable young man. However, we can see the manipulation that his girlfriend is having, or excuse me, his fiancée is having, and the control she's having over him, which I saw very recently, is starting to show. Now, it could have been because he had a loss against BYU, but there was a video out where it showed him and her hand by hand, and he just ignored his fans completely, which is outside of normal for him. Normally, he's very interactive and forthcoming with his fans. Not this time. This time, he just ignored all of them, even the little kid that was trying to say hi. Now, again, it could be because he lost, and whenever you're at the top level, a very competitive level, you're trying to get drafted into the NFL, you have all this relationship stuff, he could be overwhelmed. So I understand that completely, why he's like, you know what, let me just stay to myself. And even when he got to the top of the escalator at that particular time, he got his head held down low, which, again, with the right partner, you're going to make sure you hold your head up high at all times. But, and then the other thing, I didn't get a video clip for the other two people that's on the thumbnail that's over here. I can't think of their names right now, but she was on Real Housewives. He was an NFL player, married for 10 years. She's in her 40s. He's 39, I think. And it's very unfortunate because she has put him through the ring all over the place. Oh, God, what is her name? I can't think of their names right now. Kroy and Kim Zolciak, or whatever her name is, Kim Zolciak, yeah. There is open videos of her cheating, using him for money, all kinds of stuff. She is kind of like what people imagine what Leanna to be, right? Very controlling, very manipulative, and just using him for the bag because she's able to manipulate somebody younger. Because you got to think about it. When you're 16, right, and you're dating somebody who's 20 or 21, that person who is 20 or 21 is going to have control of that relationship initially. They're going to be able to manipulate things in their own favor. And as you get older, you're going to start realizing what's right or wrong. However, he's still too young to really realize that right now. He probably won't really have that realization until he's 25. And by that time, he may already have a kid and be married, which would be unfortunate. Which would mean every single thing that he worked hard for, put his body through, is going to go to a woman that's seen to have been unfaithful, apparently. Now, the reason I say I'm not really hard on their relationship, or I really don't care for the most part, is because he has to know. Because like he said, or like she said, she drove him to the club, right? Cool. Okay. The music video, he had to know that. I mean, how was she getting money to buy him stuff, right? She had all this stuff, so yada, yada, yada. Okay. He's rich, right? Any rich person, or his parents or family members or a good friend would have did some type of background check on him. He most likely knows, and he accepted it. They had that conversation and they moved on. And it's fine. The only problem is the public is seeing it and they're just like, okay, why are you still with a woman that's obviously not your forever person, it seems like. But again, that's just people interjecting their opinion where it doesn't matter. But, these are the two examples I wanted to show of people that have married the wrong partner, been involved with the wrong partner, and how it cost them so much. Kroy or Troy, I can't think of his name right now. He lost his house. Their house went into foreclosure. They're divorced. He has 4 kids. That's alimony right there to a woman that never really liked him, who's openly cheating on him. And then you have Kyle. He was thought to be in the first round in the NBA draft, and he got into the second round. And now he has a strain on his family and everything else. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, oh, yeah, you got to stay in control of all your family. Some family is very poisonous and toxic, and you got to have that space away from. You got to get away from to order to have some type of relationship or happiness in life. I don't blame him for that. What I will say is it's very suspect that she got with him, she was his babysitter allegedly and got with him while he was in high school. And people are calling that grooming. However, they don't say that for Travis. I don't understand why. It's pretty much the exact same situation. High school, college student. The only difference is black and white. Anyways, you guys tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.